all to you.
Thank you for that introduction. So today I'm going to be speaking about organ donation, which is a very important issue in India. And just before I start, I want to tell you why I'm doing this. So 2 years ago in the COVID pandemic, my grandfather passed away, and it was always his wish to donate his organs, but sadly he couldn't because of COVID. And I thought that doing this and raising awareness, getting people to sign up was the best thing I could do in honor for him. This month is actually Organ Donation Month, also called Angdan Mahotsav. And its importance is that you're supposed to raise awareness about organ donation, especially during this month, which is why I'm so excited to be doing it this month. So I'm going to start with a little trivia. Does anybody know what the number 4 lakh stands for? It can stand for a lot of things. For one, it's the population of Iceland. It's also the amount of people who die every single year because there's a lack of organ availability. So just to put that into perspective, it's like the entire population of Iceland is actually passing away every single year. And I think the main reason for this is because there's a huge gap between organ supply and organ demand. On average, organ demand exceeds supply by almost 40 times. And if you're looking at some extreme cases, like the demand for liver, it actually exceeds supply by 200 times, which is huge. Another reason for this is the lack of awareness, especially in India. We live in the country with the highest population, but we have one of the lowest organ donation rates of 0.8 per million. That is not even one donor per million. And while all of this is very devastating, one person who actually signs up to be an organ donor has the potential to make an impact and save up to 8 lives. So that means a population of 50,000, for example, the population of Kondapur could actually save every single person who is dying because of a lack of organs. So now I hope I've conveyed to you what a huge issue this is in India. Now I'll get into what exactly is organ donation. So as I'm sure all of you know the basic, which is it's donating your organs to someone in need of them. And now there are 2 ways in which this can happen. One is organ donation can be done while the donor is alive or after the donor has died. But today I'm going to be focusing on organ donation after death. So again, when you talk about organ donation after death, there are 2 ways in which it can happen. One is after the donor dies of cardiac death, and one is when the donor dies of brain death. And these terms might be a bit new to some of you. So to clarify what they mean, cardiac death is when a person dies because the heart stops beating, usually of natural causes. And brain death is when the brain stops functioning and someone passes away. And now, a very common confusion or misconception is that brain death is the same as coma. So just to clarify and explain the difference, when a person is in a coma, they can come out of the coma or recover because there is activity going on in the brain. However, when a person has passed away due to brain death, there is absolutely zero activity in the brain, which makes a recovery impossible. And of course, a lot of tests are done to confirm that someone is brain dead. So now coming to the organs and tissues that can be donated. To name a few, in the organs that can be donated, you have the kidney, you have the liver, you have the pancreas. And coming to the tissues that can be donated, you have the cornea, which is basically the eye, or the skin. Of course, there are a lot more organs and tissues that can be donated, but if I get into that, it'll take me a long time to list each and every organ. But if you're interested in knowing, then you can come to me after this talk and I'll be happy to show you. An important thing to keep in mind during organ donation is the time. It's always good to complete the organ donation process as soon as possible because each organ and tissue has a certain lifespan, after which it cannot be donated. So it's always good to complete the donation process as soon as possible. which is why it's very good to inform a family member. It's good to inform a family member because even if a person has signed papers saying that they will be an organ donor, but at the time of donation the family member decides to say no, then the organ donation process will not be taken forward. It's also important to know that it's the family member who will actually contact the organization for organ donation after the donor's death. So it's good to brief them on the process. Along with talking to a family member, it's also good to talk to a friend, because you have to note that it won't be the first thing that comes to a family member's mind after one of their loved ones has passed away. Which is why you should talk to a friend who you trust will remind your family members of this if by any chance they forget. Now, I've talked about statistics, I've talked about what organ donation is, and I've explained the importance of talking to family members, but how do you actually take action and sign up? So before I tell you how to do that, I want to talk about NATO, which stands for the National Organization of Organ and Tissue Transplant in India. NATO is an organization under the Ministry of Health, which completely takes care of organ donation all across India. They've been doing some amazing work towards organ donation, and they've actually streamlined the sign-up process and made it super easy. So getting signed up only takes 5 minutes. You just have to fill out a Google form. If you're interested in signing up, you can come to me after this talk and I will get you signed up in less than 5 minutes. Now, last but not least, what does the family member do when it's actually time to donate? So again, thanks to NATO, this is a very simple process. All the family member has to do is call NATO. I will share their phone number if you're interested. And they have to call NATO and read out the donor's donor number. This comes on the donor card after you sign up. So they have to read out the donor number, and then from there on, NATO will coordinate the whole donation process by coordinating with the hospital nearest to you. And this works wherever you are in India. So I hope through this talk I've conveyed to you the importance of organ donation and what a huge issue it is in India. I also hope I've showed you the impact that each and every one of us can make on up to 8 lives. I also understand that people in this crowd are from various different companies, and if you'd like me to help raise awareness at your company about organ donation, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you.
I think she deserves a bigger round of applause. Thank you so much.